A bunch of dictionaries. I don't know. I was looking around and I realized I have a bunch of dictionaries. Some are in the garage, but I don't know, show you what I've got. After all, they are books on my shelf. Let's start with this mama. This is a big old dictionary called the Macquarie Dictionary. This is Australia. This is Australian language and spelling. It looks like outside of its dust jacket. And Australian speech and spelling language is not that different from American and British language. The spelling tends to be more like Britain. The slang and sort of common words are very often American, or rather they're the same as American, not to say that the Australians use American, but just to say that they share the same kind of terms. They say eggplant, not aubergine, and they say zucchini, not courgette, and things like that. But sometimes the things they say are just exactly the same as they say them in Britain. So you really can't tell. Anyway, this is a big old book, getting into the 1800 pages. Ugh, thump. Every once in a while I break it out when I'm really curious about how the language is in Australia versus other places. And what I also break out is this one, which is not a dictionary. It's the Cambridge Guide to Australian English Usage. This one is really research based. So it, for example, let's say, do we say inquire with an E or inquire with an I? And this goes through and says, well, you know, out of 5,000 searches on the internet or whatever, 4,000 say E instead of an I or something like that. So they really look at the corpus, the writing that's already out there to come up with their answers. I like it because it's not dogmatic. It doesn't say, well, we should do it this way. It just says, well, when we search, most people seem to be doing it this way instead of that way. So here are my two Australian pieces. I'm going to come on over here to the Oxford English Dictionary. This is really almost useless at this point. It's called the Compact Edition of the Oxford English Dictionary. And this is volumes A through O. So the actual full set is something like 20 volumes. And what they've done is they've put 4 pages sort of microscopically per page. So you can see we've got a lot of words in there. And originally it comes with a little magnifying glass. So you get the 2-volume set, which is, as you can see, has these printed on there, and it actually covers all 20 volumes of the original. And it comes with a magnifying glass. Now, I only have the first volume, and the thing is, when I was looking around, like, how can I pick up that second volume? Everyone's selling the first volume, not the second one, so I think they must have had some kind of special or something like that made it easy to get the first one and more difficult to get the second one. At this point, I have an online subscription to the Oxford English Dictionary because it gets updated, whereas this version is sort of frozen in time. And there are some things that don't change, because the Oxford English Dictionary is really a historical dictionary. That is to say, see, this is from like 1971. That is to say that it tries to go back and find the first example of a usage, the first written example of a usage of a term, and then it gives more recent usages after that. So some of this isn't going to change, but then with more research and they find better answers to the same questions, but also, of course, other words are introduced into the language. So this one is just sort of for fun to break out every once in a while. Along those lines, we have the shorter Oxford English Dictionary in 2 volumes. I have what I believe what they call the deluxe edition. It comes in this slipcover and a leather cover here. The spine looks like this. And it's got the gold on the top, and it has what I love. Actually, it's got the gold all around. How about that? And I love the 2 ribbons because I am constantly wanting to save something, so you can pop a ribbon in there. This is really well done. Nice, easy to read, not too small, the text. And it's shorter than the main Oxford English Dictionary, but it has apparently all the words in use that they consider to be in use in the English language are still pretty much in here. The longer one has all kinds of obscure words and words that are obsolete now, and the long one has a much sort of a more complete reference of when the words have been used throughout history. So this one takes a lot of that out, but it still has definitions for pretty much every word in common use when the thing was printed. You know, they can't do every word in every single region, but they do a pretty good job, as well as every word used in Shakespeare, every word used maybe in the King James Bible, every word used in Spenser's Faerie Queene, something like that, where they go through and they make sure they have those other kinds of words as well. So this is really my go-to if I'm not just going to do it online, if I want to go a little deeper than that. And we have the American Heritage Dictionary. This is a nice one as well. But of course it's a single volume, so it's a much smaller thing. Kind of a cool cover there. This one is nice. It's got color. The headwords are in color as well. I don't know if that's showing up. A slightly different color, and it's got little images with color. It does actually make a difference when you're using a dictionary. I don't know, it feels nicer, and there is a difference to it. So I have a couple of editions of this. This is the most recent one that I have, which is the What If. It is the What If. It is the 4th edition. And I think I've also got the 3rd edition. But this one sits in my daughter's room. And then lastly that I've got here is this little compact Oxford English Dictionary, which is smaller again. And pretty easy to flip through, and probably will do just fine for most cases. If you're not a bit of a nutcase like I am, this is really probably all that most people would need. And of course, most people don't need any of it because everyone's got the internet anyway. So none of this is necessary. It's all, well, I had some of these before the internet became so obviously the way to go. But the truth is, I still like dictionaries. I like them. I like books, and I like book dictionaries. And so who knows? I'll probably buy the next editions if they come out again. All right, so here we have a bunch of different dictionaries, and I chucked in the Australian usage as well. Maybe I should do a whole thing on usage books that I've got. I do write for a living, and I do have some guides, so maybe I could do that one time. All right, dictionaries.